Hey everyone, it's Nevin SF. I have a special visitor back there. That's Mila. I wanted to welcome you to the channel. Thanks for dropping by. I wanted to add to my personal finance playlist. I did a video not too long ago about saving money during the quarantine while we were sheltering in place. So I'll add a link below, but I wanted to continue the conversation, and I've been feeling like I did back when I was in a huge amount of debt from college student loans, so credit card debt. I wanted to add to this playlist because of a lot of mixed feelings recently about just kind of the state of the state with the job market. I know that a lot of folks are feeling very insecure, and a lot of my friends and network have been impacted by the employment market, whether it was being laid off and not having enough in savings. So I wanted to channel the energy I had in the last recession and how I was able to eventually pay off about $40,000 worth of student loans and also about $20,000 in credit card debt. It took a lot of years and a lot of hard work, but I ended up doing it. And this time around, I'm in a different state as far as where I was back then, but I am very focused on increasing savings, being cautious about spend. And so I kind of want to channel that energy and provide you with just things that worked for me back then, and hopefully you could walk away with a new mindset tip to help you out with whatever goals you have. The first tip I have for you is to face reality. As scary and disappointing and sad as it might be to write down all your debts, it really offered some clarity for me and made me realize that I could either dwell in my feelings or I could do something about it. And what I did was I pulled out all my statements. I was very manual back then, but I pulled out my statements. I wrote down manually on a piece of paper who I owed money to and how much money was I in debt, what the APR was, and how much interest I was paying each month. And that number was staggering, very staggering. And the on your statement, you could see like, well, if you pay the minimum, this is how long it's gonna take you. And I really just felt very uncomfortable knowing that I would be like maybe in my 60s with still about a debt. I didn't have a place of my own, and it was just a very dark time for me. But it was a great catalyst to changing my life, really focusing on what I could do today to change the future. So my first step was to face the truth. The next thing that I would love for you to start doing is to learn how to say the word no. And what really helped me was reminding myself that I really cannot afford a lot of things. If you think about your total assets and then you subtract your debt, if you are in the negative, you cannot afford pretty much anything, honestly. And I found myself in a very negative situation. It was a lot easier for me to say no because I knew deep down in my heart that I didn't have the money. I was pretending I had the money with credit cards, but I didn't. And I learned how to say no. It didn't have to be a complete change in your life. I'm a very social person. I love going out, but I loved going out a little too much back then. And it was always, yes, let's go. Yes, I'm down to go grab a bite to eat. This time around, I said no more often, but I said yes to the right things. An example would be group dinners. But these were pretty large group dinners. They were 15 to 20 people at a time. And, somehow what you ate equated, even if it was a $20 meal, it equated to $80 because of all the drinking and the appetizers and the desserts. I wanted to shift that to, is there another way to celebrate or enjoy my time with the people that I really wanted to spend time with versus the strangers that were also part of the party who I enjoyed meeting. However, instead of that large dinner, maybe I said, I can't make this one, but I'd love to maybe go for a walk and I'll treat you to breakfast, one-on-one. I also considered, have I ever done this activity? Have I been to this restaurant before? Have I been to this restaurant before? I didn't want to go. I wanted to not only protect and make sure I hit my goal financially, but I also wanted to experience new things. So it took some time to learn how to say no. And I thought I would lose a lot of friendships, but the friendships that I gained from this were magical because I spent actually more one-on-one time with people than I did in a group setting where I wasn't able to spend time with that person. These relationships ended up being a lot more. And because I was saying yes to the right things, it really opened up a lot more new things. And I think a lot of my friends can attest that I'm all about yes to new experiences. So that was really a great thing that came out. I was a Starbucks fiend. I literally would buy a coffee in the morning and then I may need one in the afternoon for a pick me up during work. It was pretty bad. And I thought I ended up saving a lot more money because instead of the lattes, which were what, close to $5, I spent it on just regular drip coffee. I justified a $2 to $3 spend. What I've learned is to make coffee at home, and I know that there's lots of documents and blogs and videos about making coffee and cutting out the latte factor. Make coffee the way you like it. So if you love lattes, I would recommend investing in the right tools to make that at home. But I've learned that I love French press. I've learned that I don't like cheap coffee beans. They taste not the best, and I threw them away. So I invest in, really good coffee beans. I make a French press and I grind them myself, and it tastes great. The next thing I really focused on was learning how to cook, and it took me some while. I knew how to do some very basic items. When you start challenge yourself to use everything in your pantry, and then learning how to cook new foods that are on sale because it's a lot cheaper to buy at that time, but you don't typically use that product. You watch YouTube videos and you learn, and the more you cook, the more you learn from your mistakes, and you learn that, I need to adjust the saltiness of this, or I need to cook this a little bit longer the way I like it. It took some time to get there. There were some times where I did waste food because it didn't come out the way I wanted, and I ended up ordering it. Over time, I am confident to say that I do know how to cook most of the foods that I enjoy at home, and it's fun and it's relaxing, and I do still occasionally splurge, but you have to learn how to determine if it's the right time to splurge. And if you can splurge, is it an item that you could have readily available at home? So for example, I love fried chicken. So I don't want to buy fried chicken all the time, but it's nice when it's around. So I learned how to make fried chicken. It's not that hard. And I'll put a link of one of my favorite fried chicken recipes that I've seen online. I also crave pizza. So I will have always like a DiGiorno pizza in the freezer. So instead of paying $20 to $30 for delivery, you can pull out your $5 pizza and make it at home, and you just doctor it up. So spinach leaves, pineapple, whatever you like on it, or anchovies. I have that around sometimes too. So I would recommend learning how to cook. Oh, another thing is go on YouTube, learn how to make vegetarian and vegan dishes. I am not vegan and vegetarian, but I do enjoy them. I am telling you, you could save a ton of money with learning how to make tofu and beans. Only eating vegetables, you're gonna save a ton of money. So give it a try. The major thing that really helped me get out of debt is you gotta hustle. And hustling to me is always on the go. You say yes to things that could generate income. You wanna spend your time thinking of ways to make money, always. And I know that sounds kind of obsessive, but I am so thankful that I was able to get into a sales role, and that was my first time ever experiencing ways to earn bonus dollars and commission. It changed the way I viewed things. We always talk about, is what you're doing at the moment going to generate revenue? Well, you want to think about that in your personal life too. Is what I'm doing going to take away my revenue or my savings, or is it going to add to it? And is it going to add to the security of my business, which is my home? The moment I learned how to do sales and was given the opportunity, absolutely I'll work an extra a little bit longer to get a little bit more commission. Or is that what I need to do to get the sale done? Absolutely, I'll do it. And as hard as sales is with the rejection, what you want to think is, why? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing a complicated job that most people probably don't want to do? And it's because I taped my entire debt to my desk. And every month when I made a payment and the new statement came out, I would tape the new number onto my desk. And I would be so inspired by seeing that number drop. And I would remember seeing it drop from 30K to 29K, and then 20K to 19K. And it's a magical feeling, and you just got to keep going. However, with that said, you always got to keep your hustle on. I made an agreement with myself that I will never, ever be too good to do something when needed. And what I mean by that is, if I needed to do a job that I typically probably would not say yes to, I'm gonna do it if I had to. So side hustles, I signed up for Uber Eats. I wanted something that could fit in when the time came. It was so perfect. For one example, my cousin wanted to meet me in San Francisco for dinner, and she texted me that she's going to be late about an hour. And guess what I did? I turned on the app. I was able to do 3 deliveries. I apologize. I said dinner. It was a breakfast because I remember delivering a muffin and a coffee, and I got a $7 tip on top of the wage for the time doing. Yeah, there are folks that are generous like that and can spend frivolous, I think, or they might be in a bad situation financially with that. However, the point is, I was able to get 3 deliveries that day during a time where I would have probably just sat in my car and looked at social media. I would encourage you to think about little things you could do here and there. Can you sell an item? Do you have clothes that could be sold at Crossroads, right? You know, Crossroads is I want to call it a consignment store. No, it's selling used trendy clothes, and they take a lot of my clothes, thankfully. And so that was really helpful. So keep your hustle on, no matter what. Say yes to opportunities and say yes to money-making ideas. And listen, be open to the opportunities of listening to others who share ideas with you. Another tip that I have is to know your inventory. I'm thankful for Marie Kondo and the KonMari method, minimalism movement that happened. I did read the book. Not only that, but Joshua Becker on his videos on minimalism has really changed me in the sense that whatever comes into my space has to have value. When I switch my mindset to that and everything has a place and purpose in my life, I did not need to buy more. I did not need to spend more. And the moment that something was getting worn down or needed to be replaced, I thought, do I need to replace it? Would it add value? Can the item be fixed before I buy a new item? Or can I just move on from it and thank it for its memory, right? And so you want to be aware of that. And knowing your inventory could also go towards your pantry. You know, what's way back there in the pantry. And if you know it's coming to an expiration date, eat it. And it's the same thing for my clothes. I don't have necessarily a capsule wardrobe, which is what I know really popular, but I do pretty much know, when I need a certain color type of item, or, this pair of jeans are becoming a little worn down. It's time to keep an eye out for a new one. Imagine like being able to manage your inventory that way. You are going to be so much more better with your money. So I would encourage that. The last tip I have for you guys is to change your mindset and be transparent. And if you change your mindset to be fully committed to your goal, you have to live it, embrace it, and study it. And what I did was I woke up every morning, and instead of turning on the TV, I would study. So I would go on YouTube and I would type in manifestation of wealth or wealth making, saving money, cutting out debt-free lifestyle. And that's how I got introduced to a lot of vloggers in the personal finance space. But it was a really great time to learn new tricks and learn new habits. Stay focused, that's the main goal. There were a few books that did change my life. I did want to highlight those. First personal finance book I ever read was actually Susie Orman, and it was The Courage to Be Rich. And I actually picked it up at a thrift store. And I remember seeing it there. I didn't know who she was, but the words, The Courage to Be Rich, really caught my eye because I was starting to pay down the debt, and I realized that I was afraid of becoming rich, or maybe I had never been rich or never had money because I was afraid of it, and I was afraid of what my family would think and what my friends would think, and do I have to spend it, are people going to ask me money? There were a lot of things in my mind because when you grow up without money, you don't know what to do with it, and maybe no one's ever taught you. So that was a really important book for me. In regards to sales, it was 10X by Grant Cardone. That was a really, memorable book that I read. And so study your craft, study how to get better, and keep being motivated. And with your mindset, you want to be as transparent as possible with friends. And it really is a lifestyle change. I don't think I want to do individual gifts for Christmas this year. Are you guys open to white elephant or a secret Santa? Taking charge and letting it be known, here's why I am in debt. Here's why I want to pay off my student loan. And it really takes a lot of courage. But what I can tell you is you are going to surround yourself with the right people who support you And even better, you're gonna have friends tell you, oh my gosh, I've been wanting to do this, let's do it together. And you will have friends who come over instead of going out and play cards. And you share a bottle together, right? We feel good because we didn't spend $200 for that night. Change your mindset and be open, be transparent, be honest, and it really may surprise. There is another strategy that is going to happen, and that is when you start paying down your debt and your balances get lower, banks and credit cards companies are smart. They know that they will offer you a lower APR interest percentage, and they will have you transfer money for a fee, and you will take on a lower interest rate. Very smart, because they're in their mindset you're going to take a long time to pay off their debt and you're moving it from one company to the other. So I did do that. I took advantage of those opportunities and eventually became 0% transfers. If you're mentally ready for that and you can commit that you're not going to increase your spending, you're going to live within your means, then I would recommend doing it, because that really helped me out. Even taking out a loan at a low percentage rate, I did that with Lending Club. It really took me to the direction I needed. A tactical and emotional decision, and I was all in, but it helped. If I was not in the right mindset, I probably would have failed, and I would have carried a balance, because I did that before. Well, that is all I have. I hope this was a good takeaway for some of you. If you liked the video, please hit the like button and please subscribe if you'd like to see more videos. It's a lifestyle vlog, so I will be doing recipes, more personal finance. I'm into a fitness journey right now, so I'll be posting more of that. And of course, adventures within the city. Hopefully more once the shelter in place and the pandemic is over, we could get back out into the city and enjoy it. But until next time, I appreciate you and hope to see you guys soon. Take care. Bye.